This is the Mazda CX-60. Just a bigger CX-5? Oh no,
This is so much more
than a CX-5. Watch this to learn more. This episode is brought to you by Carvago. Be smart, choose your car online with Carvago. If someone tells you the CX-60 is just a bigger CX-5, you have my permission to roll your eyes, take a deep breath, and start a rant about Mazda's Skyactiv multi-solution scalable architecture platform, which is designed with rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive cars in mind, and that implies longitudinally mounted engines rather than a transverse setup we see mainly in front-wheel drive cars. This is why Mazda could use not just a 2.5-liter inline 4 petrol, but also a 3.3-liter inline 6 diesel. The latter can be ordered with rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Meanwhile, the petrol engine is a part of the plug-in hybrid powertrain, and this is the car I'm testing today during this international launch event. And if we raise the cover, you'll see there is space for 2 more cylinders here. There was some speculation about the new Mazda 6 also being designed on this rear-wheel drive platform, but it seems for now Mazda will focus on SUVs. Still, keep your fingers crossed for a proper sedan from Mazda. The Mazda CX-60 is almost 20 centimeters longer than the CX-5. It has 17 centimeters longer wheelbase and it's almost 11 centimeters wider. The CX-60 is also larger than the Alfa Romeo Stelvio or the Volvo XC60. The Kia Sorento is longer, and it is also available as a 7-seater. Meanwhile, if you want a Euro spec Mazda 7-seater, you'll have to wait for the CX-80 to arrive in 2023. Looking for a car for family, fun or work? Carvago.com is the place for you. Carvago is a modern platform with vetted cars from all over Europe. You can buy a car from the comfort of your home and Carvago will deliver it to your doorstep. Carvago.com features more than 700,000 cars from vetted dealers across Europe. You select a car on Carvago. Carvago sends out its experts and presents you with Car Audit, a full report on the actual condition of the car. Car Audit keeps track of 270 technical points, includes photos as well as final evaluation by a Carvago certified technician. Next, you simply select financing and delivery options, you sign a deal with Carvago, and Carvago buys the vetted car for you. You have 14 days after delivery to test drive and return the car without giving a reason. The price also includes up to 12 months warranty depending on the region. So, what's your car from Carvago going to be like? Meanwhile, as we were walking towards the boot, we pass a charging port. Mazda offers 7.2 kilowatt onboard charger, which means topping up the almost 18 kilowatt hour battery in about 2.5 hours. That's if you have a powerful enough outlet. The boot can be opened with gesture. Its capacity is 570 liters in 5-seat configuration. Drop the rear backrests and you have 1726 liters. That's the best result among 5-seater PHEVs in this segment. Even the Lexus NX 450h Plus has a smaller boot. In the boot, we'll find the optional 230-volt socket outputting 1500 watts. That's an option on the PHEV and it works only when the car is stationary. Under the boot floor is some storage. There are also levers to fold the backrests in the second row. There are no shopping bag hooks. You can choose to either close the tailgate or close it and lock the car as well. I expected a bit more space in the back, don't get me wrong. It's more than in the Mazda CX-5, but not so much that I'd be overwhelmed. This is partly due to the longitudinal placement of the engine. It's not the most effective use of space because the engine bay has to be larger to accommodate a long inline engine. And since this is a rear-wheel drive platform, there's also a drive shaft tunnel taking up some space inside. In the front-wheel biased Lexus NX, the rear wheels are electrically powered, so no need for a drive shaft. In the rear we find another 230-volt socket. This one can be used while driving, 2 USB-C ports, AC vents, armrest with cup holders, and door pockets. All are okay. The seat heater buttons are now next to the air vents. In the CX-5, they were hidden in the armrest along with the USB ports. Isofix anchor points are only on the outer rear seats. Doors cover the sills.
If anyone still had any doubts about the CX-60 being significantly different from the CX-5, the cockpit should convince you. I asked specifically for light interior version because it's easier to show on camera. Mazda added a camera-based memory function, driver memory function. You can store up to 6 profiles, and each of them remembers some 250 settings selected by the driver.
But you can skip the driving position suggested by Mazda, set your own position and store it in your profile. Before the driver is a new, larger display with new graphics. More about it when we get out on the road and I will be able to test the adaptive cruise control. The infotainment display is 12.3 inches. Navigation around the system is done with a rotary dial and some buttons on the center tunnel. However, when you use wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, the display becomes a touchscreen, which I really appreciate. I also applaud Mazda for sticking with physical controls for the AC. Next to the gear shifter is a drive mode selector. There are also buttons to activate the hill descent control and to launch the camera system.
Dual zone climate control is standard regardless of the trim. The CX-60 does have a lot of stuff as standard, but for example adaptive cruise control or the 360 camera are optional regardless of the trim.
Mazda boasts this is a new generation camera which lets you see through the bonnet. Yes, the camera has a wide angle, but the implementation is not quite as spectacular as that see-through bonnet effect on Land Rovers. There's just a dark patch here.
Mazda explains their bonnet design improves the diagonal forward visibility and forward visibility threshold by some 30 and 10 centimeters respectively versus the CX-5. Apparently, over-the-shoulder visibility is also better than in the CX-5, and the A-pillar is curved to make it easier to spot children at pedestrian crossings. I promise to devote more attention to visibility when I get my hands on the car for longer back home.
The cockpit seems very luxurious. It's something between Volvo and Audi. I still think calling the Mazda 3 Premium is far-fetched, but this is some high-end interior. Cup holders are okay. There are 2 USB-C ports in the average size storage under the armrest. Also, the glove box is average size. The door pockets are okay, but getting a bottle out may be a bit tricky because the legroom feels quite narrow. Also, I feel like I'm sitting too high, but I can't drop the seat any lower.
The Mazda CX-60 is available as a 327 horsepower plug-in hybrid with all-wheel drive or a 3.3-litre diesel with 200 horsepower rear-wheel drive or 254 horsepower all-wheel drive. Regardless of the powertrain, the CX-60 can tow up to 2.5 tons, and to make it possible, Mazda used a larger radiator in the front and added a side radiator as well. It also optimized airflow under the bonnet.
All CX-60s have an 8-speed automatic transmission. The plug-in hybrid, which I'm reviewing today, has 500 Nm of torque and a claimed 0 to 100 km/h time of 5.8 seconds. Due to time constraints and unfamiliar terrain, I will not put this claim to the test today. Also, my diagonal approach test will take place at a later date when I spend more time with the car on my home turf. By the way, the traction battery is in the floor, and in order not to compromise passenger legroom, Mazda decided ground clearance is less important. The CX-60 has 17.5 cm ground clearance, which is almost 2 cm less than in the CX-5.
To Today, I can verify the electric range. Mazda promises up to 63 kilometers below 100 kilometers per hour, and this is more or less what I got. I was driving mainly outside the town. In the town, it's probably higher. Now, you can force the car to be in EV mode, but when you press the accelerator harder, it will go into regular petrol or hybrid mode.
With the traction battery depleted, the car goes into regular hybrid mode. In WLTP test cycle for PHEVs, this should use 1.5 liters per 100 kilometers, but in reality, you'll most likely see much more. In EV mode, the CX-60 is very quiet. When the petrol engine kicks in, you can clearly hear it, but it's okay because it sounds like a normal engine rather than the droning sound which Toyota and Lexus hybrids make. Around town and on the motorway, soundproofing is decent.
Front suspension is double wishbone and the rear suspension is multi-link. During dynamic driving on twisty roads, Mazda tries to level the body by breaking the inside rear wheel. Also, the permanent all-wheel drive system with a multi-plate clutch helps to stabilize the car as well. But if you're not racing your CX-60, you're probably using recuperation. Mazda says it improved coordination between regenerative and friction braking. This was possible, among others, thanks to brake-by-wire. So what this means is that you shouldn't really feel when you start friction braking rather than regenerative braking. And to be honest, I really can't tell when the switch is being made, something that many plug-in hybrids and electric cars can't cope with. So Mazda seems to have got it right. Yay!
My only problem is with the steering, which has a fixed, rather high ratio. This means you have to turn the steering wheel quite a lot to get the reaction you may be used to when driving higher-end cars with either optional variable steering ratio or just lower steering ratio. This can catch you out and leave you feeling as if the car rolls too much. Adaptive cruise control is much better than the earlier Mazda models. I also like how it is visualized on the driver's display. The driver aids can be overzealous at times, but most of the time you can enjoy driving in semi-autonomous mode. Prices of the Mazda CX-60 start at around €50,000 for the rear-wheel drive diesel, if it's available in your market, that is. A PHEV is a couple of grand more expensive, and an all-wheel drive diesel will set you back at least €55,000. A well-spec'd PHEV, like this test example in Takumi trim, costs €62,900.
In the 1980s, Honda, Nissan and Toyota created luxury brands for the American market, Acura, Infiniti and Lexus, respectively. Mazda was next in line with the Amati brand, but a recession in Japan killed this plan. The Mazda CX-60 is no longer a mass-market product, but a luxury car which I think deserves a separate designation. Or maybe Mazda will really move upmarket with its entire lineup? And how do you like the Mazda CX-60? Let me know in the comment section below.
If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.